All right, folks, welcome back to PEG Wrestling. We are here with WrestleMATNESS, folks. The NCAA tournament is right around the corner, and we have Aaron here from WrestleMATNESS, and we're also honored to have Jake Herbert back, the former Olympian and NCAA champion. Check out the shirt. I can't believe I didn't wear my WrestleMATNESS shirt, but folks, you're going to want to, it's all about WrestleMATNESS, and we're going to be talking about mainly first, second round upset picks here today. And you're going to want to join WrestleMATNESS. The link is in the description. I'm also going to include the link to the BEG group. Folks, you can create your own group if you'd like, if wherever you are in the country. But make sure you join the action, and we're going to go through some of our first and second round upset picks here to start here. So, Aaron, let's kick it off to you. Let's start at 125. Potential upsets here.
Oh, so... yeah, potential upsets. I didn't really have any big upsets that jumped out at me. I have a couple matches that I'm definitely looking forward to. Obviously, Caleb Smith running into Little Doll, assuming they both advance to that second round of the tournament. You basically have the finals of the Big Ten tournament happening early. So that's going to be a huge battle early on in this bracket. I'm anxious to see where Figueroa shows up at. I think he got stung a little bit and probably woke him up. We'll see if the defending national champion is in the right state of mind. But it seemed like he put two pretty good bouts together after that upset. So I think he'll be prepared. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he looks in the first couple rounds there, and that's about all I have for that one early on. I think it gets real interesting when we get to the quarters, though.
Oh, it'll get fun. Jake, what do you have?
Dude, this weight class is wide open, right? Like, it's not been one where you had somebody that's been dominating the whole year to go through. You looked at Ramos's performance at the Big Tens. To me, he looked like he was sucking a little air. He was like sucked out a little bit. So, just the way that he wrestles, and he's such a wild style, you want to say he's a shoo-in, right? Anybody that can take out Spencer Lee, you're like, oh, dude, that guy should never lose. But then he goes ahead and loses the next match, and finishes up second. So he's so hot or cold, and he's big. Right. So, I think he had like 2 or 3 matches that were all coming down to the wire there at Big Ten. Every one was a close round, hard fought dogfight. And I'm wondering if that's playing a factor. So those are the things that makes this sport great is you don't know weight cut, health, whatever it is. Like you could get the flu right now and guess what? You're still wrestling at NCAA. So there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. No, and especially at this weight. Before I get into mine, a couple things I want to mention. So, Aaron, you mentioned Figueroa. It does look like he could have Dean Peterson Thursday night, and that he's going to have to win that to go to the quarters, and then he could have Vincent Robinson in the quarters, and then it looks like Ramos in the quarters could line up to have either Spratley or Steve O'Poland. So those could be very tough matches. But, folks, my first round matchup, I got 2 here for you that I'm telling you, they're going to be upsets. And the first one, it's because it's happened before, and that's going to be Cooper Flynn over Spencer Moore, the 19 seed over the 14 seed. Cooper Flynn's actually 2-0 in the past against Spencer Moore, so that is a tough first-round matchup for him. And then the other one I'm looking at is Mark Anthony McGowan up against Brendan McCrone. Okay, McCrone coming on here. Now, these two have not ever actually wrestled before, but I'm actually going with McCrone, the 20 seed, with the upset over 13 Mark Anthony McGowan in the first round there. But those two I see happening. Another interesting second round matchup I think is Jet Strickenberger, who we just talked to this past week, and Nicolas Rivera. Those two have never wrestled. So also Figueroa and Dean Peterson also have never wrestled. But yeah, Jake, I think you said it well. This weight class, maybe even more so than any other, up in the air, but that will take us to 133. So, Aaron, I'll throw it to you. 133, what do we have to look at early rounds here?
Yeah, 133, this is the one that I feel is absolutely wide open. There's so many potential landmines or upsets going on in this particular bracket. Braxton Brown against Berwick. Berwick made the finals at the Big 12s, and I see that being a potential upset. 9 versus 24. We also have Brendan Davis versus Kurt Phipps. Phipps is a local Western PA guy here. Followed him since he's been in high school. And we all know Brendan Davis's resume. I could see this being a really heated battle in that first round in 133.
Yeah, and it's interesting. The winner of those two bouts will face each other. So is Berwick Davis, Braxton Brown Davis, or Phillips? That'll be an interesting second-round matchup. Jake, what are your thoughts here?
God, I like all this. I mean, 33, it's a great weight. I'm really looking forward to it. I'd love second round to see Drake go against Noto there from Lehigh. Is one that I can't believe that's happening that early, right, with those two quality wrestlers. That's in there. But this is another one of those weight classes that you just don't have anybody that's been a clear dominant, right? Lucas Bird looked fantastic at the Big Tens doing it. But, like, again, right, like him and Drake you would think would be the sheer cut winners. But when you get down to it's something about the little guy weight, man. Like those lightweights, it's every match is really close, right? You're watching like the number 2 guy go against a 14 guy, and it's a 2 takedown match or 1 takedown match. Whereas like normally as you get bigger, it's just domination. Like there's just such difference in like the skill set, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, there does seem to be more variance. But Jake, you mentioned Noto Ayala, their second round, not so fast, because one of my upset alerts is Julian Farber over Noto first round. What a tough first round matchup. Those two have actually never wrestled before, but I think that's potential. But here's one that I got on lock. Okay, first round matchup, book it, folks. Kai Orine over Nick Bouzakis. Kai Orine, a 26 seed. Okay, and they have had Bouzakis pinned him in the past, but come on, that's a tough first round matchup for Bouzakis. The other one I have here is Tyler Wells over Evan Frost. Now, Evan Frost got a bad seed. I believe he was sick or something right at conferences, but that lines him up for a tough matchup with Tyler Wells there, who Frost beat him 2-1 just in last year. So another potential upset alert there at 133. But folks, we'll move on to 144 here. So or 141. Aaron, what are your thoughts here? Early look at in 141.
141. I tell you what, Jacob Frost, I think, is wrestling really well. I could see him coming out and making noise against Alirez. They've wrestled. They're from the same conference. I feel like he knows them. So that could be a potential. I'm not seeing a lot of upset potential early on. That's probably my big one to watch early.
Frost Alirez, that would be Thursday night, folks. Jake, what are you looking at?
I love this weight class, man. This weight class, I mean, my clear cuts 1, 2, and 3. At the beginning of the year, it's going to be, Andrew Alvarez, returning national champ, who took the Olympic year last year, Bo Bartlett and Mendez. But like, dude, none of them won their conferences. None of them, like Alirez loses in the conference finals and gets that seed. This is going to be a fun weight class to watch. But I mean, those 3 are still to me the ones that have stood out. But you got to give credit to Nebraska there, man. Brock Hardy came to wrestle, right? Yeah. And him and Alirez getting a quarterfinal match, man. That's a tough one. That's a national final match right there. Like,
especially on that side of the bracket with Bartlett and Mendez on the other side. Yeah, I mean, I think to me that quarters matchup is who's going to come out of that side of the bracket to me potentially. But yeah. I mean, other matchups I'm looking at, I got to mention Shannon Hanna as the 17 seed. He's going to end up beating Wyatt Henson and facing Hardy. That could be a fun matchup to watch. 2 very aggressive offensive wrestlers there. But the number one upset I have here, I'm actually going with Josh Edmond, the 23 seed, over CJ Composto because he's done it before. He beat him last year 11-5. So that would be the 23 seed over a 10 seed. And then the other one I'm looking at is Moshe Swartz, okay, over Sergio Lemley. They have never actually wrestled before, but to me, just the way they've looked recently, I don't know. Is that crazy? I don't know. But all right, we'll take us to 149. So, Aaron, kick us off here at 149. What are you looking at?
149. So, I think there's a couple landmines, couple potential upsets in this one. I don't know. Pinheiro won his conference tournament, but I don't know. It just didn't feel right to me. I could see him at least, barely squeaking through one of these first couple round matchups. So I'm curious to see how he looks again at the beginning as we roll forward. But I think the upset that I would probably look towards is the Cannon Webster versus Riabuto in the second round. I think that has the potential.
Cannon Webster ended the year looking phenomenal. But Jake, what are you looking at?
I don't have any upsets in my bracket here. I'm going through there. Everybody, all the higher seeds, I have them winning in this round. But man, I don't know. It just really depends on how they come and how they show up. The only big upset I have is I'm going to go Jaden Abbas over McDaniel, just with Abbas being who he is and his legacy and everything. That's a 16 versus 17 match. And again, right, I know I come from a weird viewpoint where I'm like, I don't understand what it's like to not be seeded at the top four of the NCAAs. I'm always in there to win it. I don't have that mindset to look at. So hey, whether you're 16 or 20 or whatever, no, you should be. To me, if you're wrestling this tournament, you should be. Your mindset should be, I'm making the finals.
Yeah, Jake, I wanted to ask you about that because before we continue, because I asked Jet Strickenberger about that. He said, seeding doesn't matter. Is that something when you wrestled, when these came out, did you look at every single opponent and line up potential matchups, or did you just not care?
There were always guys that hey, it would make it harder or more annoying to go with. I had some guys that hey, they're really big, they're really strong, they're hard to score on, like Phil Ketty, the Sinop brothers. Tyrell Todd, they're tough wrestlers, right? But I know, hey, I'm not gonna. It's tough. It's I'm not gonna be able to go tech them, right? Maybe I can get a major up, but I'm gonna wrestle really hard, get my one takedown, hold them down, get my riding time. Second period, I'm gonna get out, get another takedown, hold them down. Third period, I'm gonna ride them a lot, maybe turn them or get out. I just knew it was gonna be a hard match. Whereas there are just some guys that I know that hey, I'm pinning this guy, I'm putting him on his back, I'm opening him up,
Yeah. So you kind of foresaw your path there. But, hey, if a boss does win, he's got Henson there Thursday night, so that's tough. But the one upset I have here is Ethan Fernandez, the 18 seed over Ty Whalen, because he did just beat him this past month of this year. But everything else is pretty chalk. Other ones to look at, though, I got potentially Corey Bugens over D'Amelio. I'm picking that. I'm actually picking that. I'm telling you right now, there's upset alert. And then look out, Ethan Styles and Willie McDougall. They're the 21 and the 12 seed. So, but overall, this does seem like the first couple rounds could be pretty chalk, but then we'll dig into it furthermore. But all right, let's move to 157 here. Aaron, what are you looking at here in 157?
157. I have Zerban and Ethan Miller as a second round potential matchup, being a good one to watch for. I think that's going to be an exciting matchup. Zerban with the title in the Big 12 tournament, and Ethan Miller was the number one seed at the Big 10. So that should be a pretty high level contest. I think if I was to go and pick an upset, I got to look at Teamer. He just did not look right. He had that shoulder brace on. I think, what did he end up falling to, 5th or 6th in the Big Tens?
Yeah.
So
he's wrestling with him, and I feel bad for the kid because I can just see it in the way he moves, the way he's wrestling. He's tough, but crap, when you got to wrestle with one arm, it sucks, And even if he does win that first round, he gets Meyer Shapiro second round.
Yep.
And it's great, but Jakari Tamira, man, his style. It's not like your Carter Starocki out there with one knee and can get it done. His style is I need to use my whole body and get physical and beat you up. It makes it really hard when you have an injury with a shoulder subluxing or something of that nature.
Yeah. No, well, and Jake, you mentioned that second round matchup at Ja'Cory Teamer Shapiro. To me, this weight class is a story of the second round matchups, which will be Thursday night. Some fire. To me, Ja'Cory's only hope is that this is it for him. So he's been holding back up till this point of the year, and he's just going to lay it all out there. I think that's dangerous for Shapiro because you're getting everything Teamer has left in the tank for his entire career there. But, and Aaron, you mentioned Ethan Miller. Be careful, Ethan Miller, because Saldate, their first round could be, they just had a 4-2 match. Miller did beat him, but, we all know Saldate, that's an upset alert there. But, yeah, to me, it's a story of second-round matchups, Teamer and Shapiro. The other couple I'm looking at, Kazak gets potentially Cody Chittum in the second round. That's you shouldn't have a match that tough as the 1 seed on Thursday night. But and then right below them, potentially Tommy Askey and Joey Blaze lining up in the second round. They just had a sudden victory. Blaze just beat him in sudden victory here this past month. So that could go either way there as well. But all right, let's move on and let's talk about 165 here, Aaron.
All right, 165. We have pretty clear cut chalk. In most cases, the one that I do think could potentially heat up for one of our high seeds is Hall versus Ruiz in the second round. I'm not going to go as far as to call the upset, but again, it's going to be a great matchup. Ruiz seems to be wrestling in the form, and that could be a tough one.
Yeah, Jake.
Yeah, I don't see too many that I see going crazy. You look at 15 and 8 field, Max Mayfield. He's been wrestling well, but he kind of injured and followed it out there with his ankle. I think that would have been a great matchup depending on how healthy Mayfield is with, Nico Ruiz there. Mm-hmm. But again, like whenever that's jumping right down into Peyton Hall, and I didn't get to watch much of Peyton this year, so I don't know how battle tested he is. Coming out there, great record, obviously, but he's got some tough guys like getting through, possibly Sparks there on that side, even to run into Caliendo. I think the story is it's Mizenbrink, and then whoever can kind of like you win against Mizenbrink by not getting teched, has been like the story all year.
Yeah.
So it's just a battle. It's like the team race. Like everybody's competing for second place at this point in the tournaments, right? Like nobody. There's no way Penn State's not winning it, right?
Yeah.
Like.
Well, the closest match was Caliendo. He's on the other side, and he's a 3 seed here. But and Messenbrink showed him a lot of respect. But I'm pretty with you guys. It's pretty chalk here. I would say one first round matchup upset I have Jack Thompson, the 19 seed over Drake Rhodes. Jack Thompson's actually 3-1 versus Jake Rhodes in his career. The other one I have for lookout is Hunter Garvin and number 26 Patty Gallagher. Now those two have never wrestled. But that wouldn't be the craziest thing to me. I know Hunter Garvin is good, but that would be a 26 seed over a 7 seed. And we're going to see some of those eventually. They're going to happen in this tournament, but picking them correctly is in a whole nother ball game. But Aaron, let's talk about 174. We got some interesting matchups here.
Yeah, 174. I really like this first round matchup. I'm probably going to butcher his last name. Ugansanya. Is that how you say it? Ugansana?
I've not got to
yeah. Against, what is it, Tackets? Miles Tackets? Yeah.
The 21
I think that's
going to seed, yep.
21-12. I see that being a hot, heated, contested battle. Singleton and Sima. That's another good one. Mm-hmm. I think upset-wise, this could be where you see someone like Karchala. He didn't seem right to me either. Big knee brace. Definitely took the upset in the semis, I believe. Big Tens. Wolak's, he hasn't been wrestling his best this year, but he had a pretty good NCAA tournament last year. I could see him, maybe sneaking up on him a little bit in that first round match.
He's tough. He's got a win over K. DeVos this year. That was actually one of my first round upset alerts. But what do you have, Jake?
The only one that I really have, big upset that I have when I'm looking at my bracket is Gavin Sachs against Luca Augustine.
Yeah. Okay.
I just sometimes when I look in this stuff too, I'm just kind of looking at like coaching. I know you got Pitt, you got Gavin doing there, but I think David Taylor's. I want to give a lot of credit to what David Taylor's bringing in here with his guys, and you're going to see some fire out of these guys with it being his first year in a turnaround, year with them, and these guys are going to come here ready to compete.
Yeah. All right. No, that was one I was sizing that one up, and I couldn't decide between Augustine and Sachs there, but there is a couple upsets here, and unfortunate Iowa fans. Nick Incontrera over Patrick Kennedy, the 22 over the 11 seed, and Contrera just beat him. Well, not just beat him. In December 2023, he beat Kennedy 10-2. So does Kennedy get revenge on Incontrera there? That's a bad matchup first round for Kennedy.
Yeah.
You mentioned Carshla Wolluck. The other one I'm looking at, Dan Bernagle, Cade DeVos there, because I don't know if you saw those Bernagle bros in the conference championship, but both of them kids look good, and look out for Bernagle bros. But all right, that's what I have for 174. Let's talk about 184. Aaron.
184, I don't really have many upsets at the beginning, potential upsets. The one I could foresee because of familiarity is Arnold versus Washington in that first round. Washington has that legendary win over Storace, but and he looked pretty good last Saturday. He could potentially, if you just got to score on Arnold once, and you have the chance to beat him.
Yeah.
So
Arnold doesn't do a lot, man. That's the same matchup I had with that style, with them being in the same conference. And that Arnold, he's not putting up a ton of points. He's wrestled hard, don't get me wrong, but he's not really. He doesn't have enough offense, right? It looks like he just looks like he's super hard to score on, looks super strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope to see something different out of there. Was a good one, and then. Yeah, down there I didn't really see any other ones that I had selected at this time,
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see that. Like I said, Max McGinley, man, he looked great at the Big Tens. He looked great against Storace. It'll be interesting. If again he can get by possibly Gabe Arnold or Washington again, there's a lot that'll happen there first, right? And you have is it Foca there?
Yep.
From Cornell.
Yep.
That's a tough quarter bracket up there, right? With those 8 guys. That's a tough one up there.
With the winner of that quarter to likely face Parker Keckeisen to go to the finals. But yeah, I think all eyes first round matchup, Gabe Arnold, Donnell Washington. 2 other first round matchups to look at, potential, Isaac Dean and Ryder Rogotsky. Rogotsky at 26 seed. Now, those two have never wrestled, but one to keep your eye on. Then Fishback, Maximus Hale, 15 18 seed. They also have never wrestled, but potential first round upsets. I look at a couple second round matchups. Reese Heller and Jackson Smith potentially rematch from Heller beating Smith 3-2 there in overtime just a couple months ago, and then potentially Bennett Berge and Silas Allred second round Thursday night there, and then obviously there's some big time potential quarterfinal matchups there, and McAnally, who the ceiling. What is the ceiling of that kid? I don't know, but. All right, let's talk about and move on to 197, Aaron.
197, I think the big question is where's Barr at with the injury that we all saw. So, does that end up becoming, sadly, an early round upset because he's just not to 100%. In the NCAAs, it's tough to show up, as we mentioned before, not 100% and compete. So that one scares me a little bit. Both of those early matchups, depending on the condition that he's in. But there's a bunch of fantastic matchups. I'm really kind of interested to see, if Serber and Brunigal make it out to that second round. Yeah. Brunigal's wrestling fantastic, both of them, obviously, and I think that could be a really good battle between the two of them. Even in the first round, like Andy Smith versus Glazier, could be pretty cool. And then we got the matchup of brothers. I think they were talking about that on the BEG chat. The two Stout brothers could end up meeting in the second round. So that's going to be interesting to watch if that happens.
Who's the older brother between Luke and Mark? Are they older, younger, or twins, or what are they? What's the story?
I believe Luke's older. I think Luke's a senior this year.
Oof.
Okay.
And Mac, the higher seed. Yikes. Some brotherly love there. Jake, what are you looking at here?
Well, I'm going to have to change my pick because I'm going to have to pick Big Brother over Little Brother.
Yeah,
that
right? I know.
That was my
Definitely.
main thoughts on those ones. Yeah, that's a hard one to get out of there. But yeah, I don't really have too much in there. I like Salzer getting through, but I mean, I know that potential second round, him and Volkner from UNI, could be a really good battle. There, but I mean, I look at this as a 3 race, right? Actually 4, right? Beard's been looking real. I mean, Josh Barr, pre-walking off that match is different. I think how he shows up, right? Showing up the NCAA is fully healthy. It's tough to win that tournament, right? And Josh Barr has had a fantastic year. He's been there with everything. Up into my mind, up into seeing him kind of limp off there at Big Tens, he would have been one of my go-to guys here. But man, with him and Beard and Ferrari and Cardenos and Buchanan, I don't know which one of those horses are going to be taking it out.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, you mentioned, is Josh Barr healthy? And it looks like potentially Thursday night, second round matchup up against Trey Munoz. Those two have never wrestled, and that would be a tough matchup. But you guys pretty much hit everything. The only one I want to talk about, obviously the Andy Smith-Zach Glazier first round matchup is going to be good. Everyone's rooting for Zach Glazier because they want to see the rematch, AJ Ferrari and Zach Glazier. And because that was a fun one, the double birds, but I don't think it's going to happen because I'm picking Andy Smith to beat Zach Glazier because he just did this past month in sudden victory. But I'm rooting for Zach Glazier. I want to see that AJ rematch, but I'm actually going to pick Andy Smith here, the 19 seed, to upset the 14 seed. But yeah, you guys touched on it. A lot of fun second round matchups going to happen at this weight class. But we'll close up the first and second round early matchups here at heavyweight 285. Aaron, what are you looking at?
Now 285, it's so top heavy, and I mean those first round matchups, second round matchups in heavyweight, they're always so tough to predict because they end up being, who gets riding time or who gets that one takedown. So I don't even know if I can make a prediction here. I'm pretty much following chalk all the way out to the quarters. But there'll still be interesting matchups for sure, but nothing I can really call.
Yeah, I got 15-18 Tinker versus Ruin. I have Ruin getting done. I really like Doug Schwab, man, and what he's been doing with that program. So I'm just looking at there as versus Cal Poly. I mean, it helps to have, a training partner like AJ Ferrari around for Tinker. But, I'm looking at that weight class, and especially with something like heavyweight. Yeah, this is a top-heavy bracket, especially with Cooter and Feldman up there and Colton Schultz and Gable. It's Gable and it's everybody else in this world right now.
Yeah. Well, and, you mentioned if Runyon does make it through, he looks like he's going to have Wyatt Hendrickson, which is he healthy? Again, we go back to we don't know the health. He did finish out that match to get the conference championship up against Colton Schultz, but it did look like he suffered some type of injury there, but we will find out. The other thing, speaking of Colton Schultz, he's got a tough second-round matchup up against Luke Luffman. He is 1-0 against him in his career, but if he gets through that, then let's talk about Gable doesn't have the easiest path. Gable has Slav in the second round, potentially, then maybe Colton Schultz. Then, I don't know. In that quarters, I'm looking at Ben Keeter, Nick Feldman, potentially rematch in the second round. Keeter's 2-0 up against Feldman, but they've both been very, very close matchups. And then just another couple I want to mention. I want to see Jimmy Mullen go up against this Heinzelman because I just like watching this Jimmy Mullen kid, the 11 seed out of Virginia Tech. But he's got to get through Brady Colbert, tough Army kid, in the first round to potentially make that happen. But yeah, in general, this is a top heavy heavyweight. But that's it for early upset picks. we're going to go back through and just look at some potential quarters and semi matchups real quick here around the horn, and then we'll wrap it up. But Aaron, let's start back up here. 125 potential, maybe quarter, semi, fun matchups.
Yeah, looking at the quarters and the semis in 125, to me the match is Little Doll versus Figueroa. I think who wins that wins the NCAA title, personally. So that's where all my money's at.
Jake?
Yeah, it'll be interesting, man. I don't have Ramos making it all the way through. I mean, I'd love to see him make the finals. Just the way that he looks sucked out, the way he's wrestling. I don't know if he gets back there or not, man. But if he does, you can't count him out. That guy's got everything too. This is one of those weight classes that it's up there. Man.
Yeah. Well, Ramos has potentially Spratley or Poland. I said that in the quarters. Yeah. That top half, Figs is going to have to get through Vincent Robinson potentially in the quarters to make it to Lillendahl. Aaron, you mentioned Lillendahl, Caleb Smith in the quarters. I mean, yeah, this is going to be fun. Does Ventresca has a good chance of getting through on that side? But I don't know. Yeah, we got some. That's going to be fun. 125. All right, 133. What do we got here? Potential quarter, semi, fun matchups.
Yeah. How good did Bird look last weekend, huh?
Yeah.
So, I'm just excited to see him wrestle all the way out through. Pretty convinced that I have him in the final. But some of the matchups that I think play a big part. We didn't talk about it in the first and second rounders, but Knox versus Romney, that could play big into the quarters and the semis if either one as they wrestle out. But I think it's probably most likely going to be a rematch of the Big Tens with the chance of maybe McGonigal sneaking his way out through there.
Ooh, I like that. I'll tell you what I think.
Yeah.
Everyone's hot on Lucas Bird right now. He's fundamental.
Yeah.
He's solid, and we saw he just beat Ayala. But on that bottom half, I'm looking at the Nasir Bailey, Drake Ayala matchup, and I'm telling you, I think Bailey pulls that out, and I think Bailey goes on and beats Bird. Now, if he can get by Ayala, that's my prediction. But then I think if Ayala beats Bailey, I think it is Bird's national championship. But that's my thoughts. Jake, that's spot on, right?
I don't know, spot on, but it's not out of the foreseeable realm of craziness, right? Like there are crazier things out there. Yeah, you look at it all year. I mean, notoriously, like Iowa's guys are not showing up, to put 3 in the finals and not win it. I don't know, man. They haven't been. There's something different going on in there now, right? And yeah, rather it's overtraining or whatever it is, there's something there, but you never know.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. Can Iowa pull out a champ this year? But all right, Aaron, let's talk about 141. Some of these quarterfinals we already touched on the potential Brock Hardy Alirez in the quarters. Oh my goodness! But what are you mainly looking at here?
Ooh, when I look at this, I just have to ask the question: will we have 2 defending national champions out before the semis? That would be unheard of, But it could happen. Hardy's wrestling so well, and I don't know. Mendez just doesn't look right to me. Maybe it's just he's not winning those close battles, those situational moments in the match. He's not pulling them through like he used to. But I feel like Bartlett is just solid. He'll find his way out to the semis and probably into the finals. I'm curious to see what happens at the top. Yep. Can Happel upset or topple Hardy to get out to the finals?
Yeah, I'm hot on Happel too. I have Happel going on, and that's a tough one between Alirez and Hardy, right? To me, those two and Bartlett. But Mendez is just a gamer, man. You don't know. He's got Jaggers in his corners, right? Jaggers is notorious for going, 12-8 and then winning the national tournament.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. Mendez does not look quite the same, but this is the time of year to turn it all on. I'm going to say, wow, you're predicting Happel goes through Coderhant there, the 4 seed, to face the winner of Hardy Alirez. My bold prediction here, the winner of Hardy Alirez match goes on and wins it all. I don't know. Mendez, Bartlett might beat each other up a little bit. I don't know, but Alirez, everyone's sleeping on Alirez. That loss to me might have been a reality check for Alirez. It might have been the best thing for him, in my opinion. Maybe. All right, let's talk about 149. Aaron, some quarters and semis.
Yeah, I'm a Henson guy, as I've mentioned before on the BEG podcast. So I'm taking him out on the top. I can't wait to see the Van Ness Lovett rematch. Mm-hmm. I believe that's happening in the semis. So that basically lays out my finals, and not sure who I'm taking yet in that bottom half, but I know Henson will be out there.
Okay, all right. Jake?
That'll be interesting to see if Henson can get by Parco, be tested like that again, man. I mean, defending national champ, and he's a little bit better. He's got that national title, but Parco really wants that, man. Not that any of them don't, but that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I love it. And Van Ness, I feel like the winner of that's probably going to have a slight edge in the finals, but I can't count on Henson either.
Okay, hold on. Jake, that means you're picking Parco over Panero Johnson?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Not the Kyle Parco I saw wrestle last. I'll tell you that. I don't know. But Henson does seem to be the top half pick to me. But I'm going, to me, this is Ridge Lovett's year. I thought last year was his year. But the fun one to watch here is going to be that semifinal. Van Ness and Ridge Lovett, potentially. We all want to see it, folks. But, all right, let's move on. 157. Aaron, what are you looking at?
157. So I think if Kasak brings his A game, he's a national champion this year. He keeps hitting his head, and even in that finals match, or was it the semifinals match? He kept he looked out of it again. He looked dazed after that headbutt, and I'm just worried about that. But I think he's the man if he's okay. So I'm taking him out. I think he's all right. I just want to make sure he keeps his head out of there, right? Although that's so much part of his game, I guess, keeping that head in there as defense. But so it's I see him out in the finals, and I think it's going to be against Shapiro. I don't think anybody else gets past him.
Yeah, I was going to say Kazak not the only one in this weight class with former head problems, but Jake.
Yeah, I got the same. I got an upset though. I'm gonna call Cannon to beat Hippolito there. Just really liked it. Yeah, he's shown up. He's been wrestling tough, man. I love it, but I don't see anybody getting by Kasak. Dude, that dude looks
if
so
he's
good.
Healthy. Yeah, if he's healthy. But I do love that Cannon pick, Jake. But to me, this is all about we all want to see Tyler Kazak and Meyer Shapiro wrestle. Yep. Where are they? And two of the funnest wrestlers to watch. Both of them just absolutely go for it. So let's all hope we get to see that match. But all right, we'll move on. 165 quarters semis matchups. Aaron.
Yeah, who's gonna wrestle Messenbrink for the title, right? So yeah, I think it's Caliendo. The only person that can consistently score on him, and it's gotten a lot harder, obviously, is Messenbrink, and I just see his game being too strong for anyone else to get through.
Agree. Jake?
Yep. Same. All the way over.
Well, I'll say this. The one person that we kind of touched on with a chance to beat Messenbrink all year is Bearclaw. Bearclaw. Okay? I learned how to say it correctly. Terrell Bearclough, and we could see that as a semifinal matchup. And to me, the other side, Caliendo Hall potentially, maybe, I don't know who even comes out on that side, but the funnest weight semifinal, it's Messenbrink, Bearclough. That's what I want to see at this weight. But all right, 174. Aaron, quarters and semis.
Quarter semis, I mean, Yeah, again, I think we have Haynes and Hamidi wrestling to try to take the title off of O'Toole. I feel like O'Toole might have used up his juice in the Big 12, and it might leave him vulnerable in the finals against either one of those two. Not sure which
Hamidi's
one's
not on
going to
his
get
side, because that was a tough match.
Yeah, I have.
It was.
I mean, that's going to be a good quarterfinals. Pinto O'Toole. Pinto's huge as a 74-pounder, man. Like Lenny Pinto is to be an 8 seed.
Yeah.
In there in that mix, man. I don't know. I also have Ruiz O'Toole semis. But you're right. I think it's all the way. It's Levi Haynes, man. That guy's so cool, calm, collected. He's in a good position. Like
Yeah.
He's there.
I'll say this.
Yep.
Yeah. The Levi O'Toole, and which, by the way, every Penn State wrestler said they would pick Levi in the situation of a zombie apocalypse. So that I think there's something behind that. But yeah, the other note I want to say, Garrett Thompson, pretty overwhelmingly, the number 4 seed, pretty overwhelmingly credited as like the worst seed of all these brackets. And Jake, you touched on it. You're picking Ruiz, the 5 seed, to come out of that quarters to face O'Toole. But yep, we're all looking forward to. We all want to see it. Levi Haynes and Keegan O'Toole, and I'm not sure who I'm picking there because Aaron, you make a good point, and that Hamidi match, that meant something to me. But all right, 184. Carter Srirachi, the 1 seed. We all expect to see him there. What else you looking at here, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all want to see Keck Eisen get another shot at him. Can McAnally make a match out of it with Keck Eisen? I believe so. Do I pick McAnally to upset Keck Eisen? I don't know. That's a lot of points I lose if Keck Eisen doesn't make the finals or ends up making the finals. So I think it's going to be, the 1 and 2 all year long, seeing each other in the finals again. Yeah, obviously.
So Aaron, that's the safe pick because how many times have you won WrestleMATNESS, yeah. Aaron? So let's. Is that your strategy there? And how many times you won?
That's my strategy. You got to think about that. If I had to give a pro tip to all newcomers to WrestleMATNESS, go pick your champions and work backward. Because that's where the big points are at. So you got to get the finals and the champion right. Yeah.
All right. Good advice.
I only won it once, actually. In my
It was recently, though. All right, Jake.
Yes, last year.
Here? Sorry, there's a delay.
Yeah. It's same thing as Aaron said. It's Starocki, Keck Eisen. Don't get me wrong. It'll be a great matchup to see McNeely and Keck Eisen go at it. He might have it, but you're talking a 5th-year senior versus a freshman. This is freshman year going through it. We'll see. I don't know, but that's how champions and legends are born. Starocki did the same thing when he was a freshman. Came through.
Ooh, very true.
Through to win it big. So.
Yeah, to me the McAnally Keck Eisen, and I'm gonna pick McAnally. That young energy. It just I can't wait to see McAnally Ferrari next year wrestle. I'll tell you that. But all right, 197, 2 weight classes left. Aaron, quarter, semi, big matchups here. Work backwards.
Big matchups, quarters. I actually have Volker taking down Buchanan.
Wow.
I guess that would be in the semis.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my big one. Give that little bit out there. And, AJ is going to be right in the mix there. But ultimately, this one's tough to call, right? There's like 4 guys that are all right there. But, yeah, I don't know.
Do you have AJ in the semis?
I have AJ. Yeah, I haven't picked out that far yet.
Oh, okay. Because that if you're picking Volker, that would line up AJ Volker on one semi side, and whew, what a easy path for AJ. Not easy, but favorable. Jake, what are you looking at?
I like the 3 big horses, man. Buchanan, Ferrari. But again, I'm seeing Michael Beard over Josh Barr is what I have. I don't think he's going to take out Cardenas, man, he looked great at Big Tens. And again, all these guys are a one takedown match away. That's the way it's been all year between them two, and just to see how Ferrari ends up in that, Again, Ferrari's, I think, biggest thing isn't showing up on the mat. I'm like, it's what he's going to do between now and actually staying eligible. Yeah, that's always been his battle.
Well, and, he hasn't been tested for a duration of a long tournament like this. So is he able to keep that weight down? He's mentioned he's big. He's like 225 or something. But the AJ Buchanan, I'm shocked, Aaron, that you're picking Volker over Buchanan, first of all, in that quarters. But because I want to see AJ Buchanan in that semifinals. And, boy, on that other side, if there is someone to knock off Josh Barr, Michael Beard, former Penn State wrestler, wouldn't that be, I don't know, coincidental? Is that the right word? But, yeah, the winner of that to face Cardenas. Josh Barr's health and all eyes on AJ Ferrari. How far can he go, to me? But, all right, let's close it up. Aaron, we made it to heavyweight in the semifinals and quarterfinals. What are you looking at here? This is where it gets fun at heavyweight.
Yeah, I think this one ends up working out to be Kirkleet versus Gable again. Big Ten final rematch, and we saw how that went. But nobody else in this bracket scores like those two from the heavyweight position. Other than Wyatt. But again, we already mentioned that he seems a little banged up after his championship match in the Big 12. So I think it's coming down to those two.
All right, Aaron, I'm going to throw it to Jake, but then I'm going to come back to you. I want to know who you're picking to face Gable in that semifinal matchup. So who you picking to come out of that quarters? But Jake,
I got Feldman to go against Stevenson in there, man, coming all the way out the 12 seed. I love the way the kid wrestles. I love his mentality. I know he had a barn burner there with Cooter, but I think Nick Feldman shows up and comes ready. Ohio State's just always, they've done great with their heavyweights. They got that in there. They're good at that. So, but he's not taking out Stevenson, and you can throw whoever you want against Kirkovich. Like Henderson's going to come out there, and I think Kirk's going to take him down. And then you're looking at the Big Ten rematch just as it is. 2 or 3 takedowns from Stevenson, just domination.
No, I love that Feldman pick, and that would actually line up the third matchup of the season, I believe, between Gable and Feldman. And Gable has not thrown. He's had 2 tough matches up against Feldman, so that would be fun to watch. But ultimately, I do think it's going to be Gable Kirk. And any chance, Jake, does Kirk have any chance of making an adjustment against Gable and having a chance?
No, not after seeing that there. It's mental at this point. It's I'm from Minnesota. He's from Minnesota. He's older. He's big brother.
Yep. No, I agree. Unfortunate, but
he's in a good position. He's good. But guys, I got to run.
All right, folks. Jake Herbert, former Olympian NCAA Champion. All
right, Jake. Thank
you for the time, Jake. And that's perfect timing because we're closing this out, folks. Make sure you go to WrestleMatness.com and join the action. BEG. The links are in the description. Join our group. And until next time, folks, thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Jake. This is BEG Wrestling. Like and subscribe. See ya.